Welcome back to season 2 of the Katie Wellness Show. I am back with more amazing tools, awesome interviews, and some great discussions to help you optimize your health, body, mind, and spirit. Not only can you use these tools every day, you can also teach them to your children and to your family members so that you can raise emotionally and physically resilient children, so that you can show up more in your life, that you can take back your personal power. Get ready to tap into your intuition. I'm so excited that you're here. You are worthy of health and of joy and of thriving in your motherhood, thriving in your life. Thank you for being here today. Welcome back to the show. I am your host, Lindsey Katie, and joining me today is Jessica Lowery. Jessica is the founder and CEO of The Power of Elderberries, a nationally trusted wellness brand based in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. She is a wife, mother of 3, former lecturer at the Department of Public Health at Coastal Carolina University, and a passionate advocate for holistic health and healing. I really enjoyed my conversation with Jessica today. She talked about the backstory about how this product, which began in her kitchen as a homemade remedy for her own family, has grown into a premium supplement brand recommended by holistic practitioners across the country. Her signature elderberry syrup not only tastes fantastic, but it is sourced so well, containing whole ingredients, including organic European elderberries, local raw honey, and organic spices that are known for supporting immune function, allergy relief, joint comfort, blood sugar balance, and whole body vitality. I have been using this product for a couple of weeks, and I can attest to many of these. I have noticed a shift, especially in one of my kids, has noticed some allergy relief. So I'm really excited to be able to use this product for my family to help them using what nature has given us. Founded in 2018 during a season of deep personal struggle, which Jessica talks about in our discussion today, the Power of Elderberries was born out of faith, perseverance, and an unwavering belief in abilities nature to heal. Today, Jessica shares her story to inspire others to trust their intuition. I agree so much. Lean into their calling and pursue wellness with purpose. Thank you for joining me today, Jessica. Let's get into our discussion.
It was great. I had each of my kids try the products and they love it. And it kind of caught me off guard at first because I was expecting more of a berry flavor, but with the cloves and the cinnamon in there, it's just like, it reminds me of like a homey taste, like a Thanksgiving or Christmas drink yumminess. Like it's really good. So kudos to you for formulating it and getting it to taste good.
Well, there was a lot of intentionality behind that because at the time I had 3 kids under 5. So it was all about the taste. Like honestly, it was all about the flavor. It was all about getting my daughter to take it on a regular basis. Every brand I would bring home, it was a fight, kicking, screaming, spitting it out. Like it made parenting like so emotional, which actually took me back to my own childhood with what it was like with my mom giving me medicine. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Like that was so emotional for me as a child. And so it makes parenting so easy though, because it's almost like too good to be true. The fact that our kids have never had like cough syrup or, any kind of over-the-counter medicine, even if it was like more of like a natural brand, they don't even know what it tastes like. They only know our product. So they're very fortunate for that.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and I appreciated that it didn't leave like a weird film in my mouth or like,
Aftertaste. Uh-huh.
yeah, weird aftertaste. So great job.
Well, thank you, thank you. Kudos to nature.
Yes, thank you, nature. Hey, let's jump in and talk a little bit about the power of elderberries. I've been curious about the name. You have power in all caps. I'm wondering if there's a reason behind that or a story behind that.
Oh my gosh, I love that question. Well, there's actually a story behind how the power of elderberries actually came about. which ties in beautifully on how this whole business came about. For many people, they may not know, but I actually formulated this product from scratch. It was around January of 2018. I was wanting better for my own family, better control over the quality of ingredients, the taste. And after putting my batch that I had made for my own family out on social media, and with just merely the idea of sharing education with people about elderberries and their benefits and their power in which they have, which I knew from my own personal testimony 5 years earlier. Little did I know that people would actually ask to purchase this elderberry syrup that I made for my own family. So I stepped into it. It was actually an answered prayer, and we can get into that entire story later if you'd like. But here I was now making elderberry syrup for other people. So my husband, so at that time, I had moved everybody over to a private Facebook group because I didn't want to keep taking orders through like my own feed. And I was like, anyone that's interested can kind of come over here in this private Facebook group. And I remember sitting at my computer in my bedroom, and I was like, okay, what is going to be the name of this group? And I named it The Power of Elderberries because I was sharing the benefits of elderberries with those that wanted to be part of the group. So a couple weeks went by, and at that point, our business was like really booming organically very, very quickly. And my husband's like, Jessica, we need to get a business license and insurance and all the things kind of set up, LLC, to if we're really going to step in and do this, what is going to be our business name? And I can remember being in the bedroom and I'm like, um, the power of elderberries. So that's like how the name came about. Looking back, it's like I probably should have put some more effort and time and intention behind a business name. But little did I know that it would actually become a business, and here we are today. But in terms of the power being in all capital letters, I actually met a woman that I became friends with that used to purchase our product out of the back of my van in the grocery store parking lot. And in those early days, I can remember her saying, "You know, Jessica, I'm a teacher, I'm a high school teacher, but I love doing graphic design. If you'd like, I can create a logo for you." And I was like, wow, that would be amazing. Like, please do. Because I had like these little tags that I would like tie around mason jars. And it just said like the power of elderberries and like your typical like Times New Roman font, you know? And so she created a logo. And that's how she designed the logo. And I've never changed it. And I've never wanted to change it because it has such a beautiful story behind it. So that's Bonnie Huggins right there of just creating my logo from a teacher just wanting to step in and help us grow.
I love that. I did bring the products down with me, so I had to check it out right here. But that is awesome that she believed in the product and in your vision so much that she's like, "Hey, let me do this for you. Let me help you." That's awesome.
And that's how it was with so many different people. It's like, how can I help you with getting a Google form set up to make collecting orders easier? Or I'm a web designer. Let me help you with creating a website. Or like we had so many friends just like reach out to us because here we were starting a business from scratch, no resources, no business plan, like literally just kind of jumping out in faith and like I guess this is our calling because this is an answered prayer for our family right now and it's going to help us financially in this hard time, but also it's improving people's health and making a difference in their life. Just wanting to step into that. So a lot of people really poured in their skill sets and in a big facet of different areas. So it's a really neat story to reflect back on.
That is really cool. And it seems like it's not only true in motherhood, but in business, it takes a village because
Absolutely.
you have a vision and you have a desire to help people, but there are so many different facets of owning a business and selling a product or a service that is you don't know when you get started. And learning to do all these different things, it really, what a blessing to you to have friends and people reaching out saying, "Hey, let me help. Let me help."
And
That's
that
awesome.
that hasn't stopped today, right? I mean, there's always things that every single day we're learning and growing. You have to wear so many different hats, and there's just so many different facets of running a business. So it really does take a village.
Yeah, it does. So, talk to me a little bit about answered prayers. I'm assuming that there were some health concerns, maybe some financial concerns as to why you wanted to start this. Um, and talk to me a little bit more about that. I love seeing the little miracles in people's lives or the big miracles. So
Right.
tell me a little bit about your backstory about answered prayers.
Yeah, so in fall of 2017, my husband was having a lot of health issues going on, and I can just remember him juicing every day and taking supplements. And we were working with a functional holistic practitioner at the time, trying to figure out what was going on. Of course, there was like all kinds of medical bills with lab work and all this stuff. And in that time of him having serious issues going on with his health, I also got notice that I was going to have 3 classes in my upcoming season of teaching in the spring that were dropped. And so I would, at that time, I was getting paid per class that I taught as a lecturer at the university. And I went from 5 to 2. And so on top of him financially and us struggling with his health and then those classes getting dropped, I can just remember dropping to my knees and like, God, show me a way to help my family during this time. Like, what am I going to do? Do you want me to get a second job? Am I supposed to wait tables? Do you want me to sell things out of our home? We had 3 kids under 5 at the time. So I was just willing to like get a second job to help our family at that time. And so meanwhile, here is cold and flu season. And I was like, I need to get elderberry in our home to keep our family healthy. And I'm sure it will help my husband, Jake, too, because, it's just so good for you. So I made a batch up to have better control of the quality of ingredients as well as the taste for my own kids. And the whole intention was just to make it for my family. And I had no intention of trying to sell it at that time. Like it was not even a thought of mine, actually. And I put it out on social media because 5 years earlier in 2013, while I was pregnant with my son Beckham, I discovered elderberry and it helped me overcome cold and flu symptoms during that time. So I became a big believer 5 years earlier. And here we are now in a flu epidemic. And I'm like, I need to tell my friends about elderberry because not many people even knew about them then. So I had made my own batch for my family. And then I put my testimony out there and share people my own experience. And I was like, go find yourself some. Like everybody needs elderberry in their home right now. Tamiflu's flying off the shelves. People are panicking. People are sick. Like they don't know what to do. They're concerned about their kids. Like I have to share this with people, right? So that's what I did. And a couple hours later, I went back and I was looking at my notifications and I saw a couple messages and comments that said, "Hey, Jessica, do you happen to have any extra that I can purchase?" And it wasn't until that moment that I was like, oh my gosh, this is the answered prayer. This is what I'm supposed to be stepping into to help our family financially right now. And this is something that I can do. So that's kind of like where it all started. There was no intentionality behind starting a business or, you know, resigning from our jobs and career on this set path that we had before us. And I can remember reflecting on that time. Yeah, 3 kids under 5, nursing still, working, preschool. My daughter was in kindergarten. I mean, we had so much going on. So now we're stepping into making elderberry syrup from 7:30 at night after putting the 3 kids to bed to about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. It was an 8-hour process for my husband and I from beginning to end. And of course, I had, all the cooking. He was the cleanup and the sanitation and keeping up with orders online and all the things. But that was the backstory. Yeah, we used to listen to Billy Graham and hang out in the kitchen for endless hours is what it seemed like. And then to get up and do everything all over again. It's like sometimes as mothers, you reflect back and you're like, how did I do it? You know, how did I go with
Yes.
such little sleep? Like I must have been a monster, you know, I need sleep.
Yes.
So
Well, and with all that you had going on, it seems like you were maybe even kind of in survival mode, just like whatever I can do to get through. And it does kind of reach into the depths of your soul and just bring out that that will, that drive to just keep going.
yes, absolutely. So that's where the story came from. Yeah. And there's been, you know, there's been a lot of blessings, but answered prayers along the way too. Like, you know, entrepreneurship and running a business is not for the weak at all. And we have had a lot of struggles along the way. And you have to just rely on prayer to get you through many things in life. And I'm just grateful for my faith and being able to have that connection. Mhm.
Yeah, like God, show me the next step. Like, what's the next? I love the big picture plan, but like maybe just show me the next step.
And a lot of times, as I reflect back, it's like I never really even had the big picture plan. Like when you're stepping into something that you're being called to, oftentimes you don't have the big picture plan or the vision. It's just like, let your will be done. Like, what do you want me to do today? Like, just lead me in the next step and direction. And that's what I completely count on every single day, especially now more than ever. It's like, yeah, I have all these beautiful ideas, but what is it that you're calling me to want to step into? What is your purpose and path for this? Because this is all you. Like I'm just a conduit and a help to getting this product into people's homes to help their health because there's a bigger mission and purpose behind our brand for doing so. Which also ties into, you know, just the formulation and the intentionality and not ever wanting to change anything because I believe all those little tweaks early on of changing a little bit more of this or a little bit less seem to hold his ground and fight for people's health is just absolutely incredible. I give all the glory to him, that's for sure.
Yeah. So it sounds like your draw or your pull to elderberries in general started with cold and flu. But since then, you've noticed a lot more additional benefits to elderberries and elderberry syrup. So share with me some of the additional benefits of the elderberry syrup or the elderberry bites that your company offers.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think to start with, I'll share the ingredients that go into it. So you do have the European black elderberry. There's also a reason why we use the European black elderberry, as there's many different species and varieties of the elderberry plant, but the research that we have does support the European black elderberry that's been used for a very long time. In fact, the Hippocrates in ancient Greek and father of medicine referred to elderberries as his medicine chest. They turned to elderberries for everything. So with the elderberries, we also add fresh cut organic ginger root, organic whole cinnamon sticks, and organic whole cloves. And instead of adding sugar, which most elderberry supplements have in them, we only choose to use local raw honey in both our liquid formula as well as what we call our bite formula, which is actually made from the liquid as like a little traveling pod that people can take them with them on the go. So when you look at all of those ingredients that go into the formula and you look at the research that each one brings to the table, you can imagine it's a powerhouse of nature going into our body of whole organic, non-GMO nature's nutrition straight into us through a daily supplement. So you have antiviral properties, you have antibacterial, you have antioxidants, you have anthocyanins, you have um, antifungal, you have antimicrobial, um, rich in anti-inflammatory properties, right? So with all of that being said, it's like not only do a lot of our customers feel a difference in their energy level when they take it every day, it's also helping support better sleep. We have a lot of people that have been able to let go of taking other things for sinus health or allergies, where it's supporting that as well. And the powerful anti inflammatory is what is keeping a lot of our customers taking our product year round because it's having such a profound effect on their joint mobility, whether it be their hips, their knees, plantar fasciitis, carpal tunnel in their hands. So a lot of people are feeling the anti-inflammatory properties of this formulation. And then, of course, every single ingredient supports blood sugar regulation. So you have benefits there that people are reaping. Um, if you look at each individual ingredient, I think it's really hitting home on, anti-aging, rich in antioxidants. You have gut health and digestion. You have metabolism, allergies and sinus health, immune support, right? That's what elderberries are really known for, is supporting our
Yeah.
immune system. So lots of different pockets of supporting what I like to refer to as whole body wellness, versus just supporting your immune system, which is what most people turn to elderberry for. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Um, when you started taking it, either back in 2013 when you first started taking them, or since you've started creating this product, what is the biggest shift that you personally have noticed from taking the elderberry syrup, the power of elderberries?
I think the biggest shift, reflecting back over, we're talking since probably like the last 8 years that our kids have been taking it on a regular basis. Our kids very rarely, if ever, get sick. And really our family for the entire family. I mean, our kids have never had a sick doctor's visit. Like that's crazy, right? They don't even know what it's like to go to the doctor to be sick. They've never had to turn to antibiotics or over-the-counter medicine. So the biggest benefit, I think, for our own family is just having healthy kids and allowing them to stay in school, right? And get those perfect attendance certificates at the end of the year and like thrive off them being in school, us able to work, having healthy kids. And of course, there's times that like maybe some allergy, symptoms come up or a sore throat or some sinus pressure. But we've been able to turn to our product and our formula to help support whatever their body might be fighting at the time as a natural alternative, which is just beautiful. Like I was talking to you before about just kids love the way it tastes. It makes it easy. It's easier with just being able to step into parenting because as a parent, it's like you love your children so much and you just want them to feel better. And especially when they're not feeling well, you feel helpless. And it's like, what can I do? Really nothing. But our particular formula is really helping support their health in ways that we never imagined nature really having the power to do. But we are big believers in it because it works and it tastes good.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed to all of it. And it is so important, as parents to know the different tools that we have in our tool belt. And I feel like this is a really important one to have, especially if you have kids that get sick often or who are dealing with allergies. One of my sons, so I have three boys, and one of them is constantly, stuffy nose. For the most part, my kids are really healthy, but I don't know if it's just allergies that he's dealing with.
Mhm.
But this has seemed to help him, even just in the short time that he's been taking it. Like he's a lot less congested and a lot less sniffly. And yes, like there is power in nature, and God gives us the things that we need to support our bodies.
I just love that. And I'm sure he's not putting up a fight of taking it because it does taste so good. And even when we do events and farmers markets and people share they have really bad sinus or allergy issues going on, and I'll ask them, "Do you feel really stuffed up right now?" And sometimes I'll get a hard yes, I can't breathe at all. So I'll give them a full dose and I'll have them take it. And I'll say, just walk around the farmer's market or the event, whatever I'm at, and come back and see me in 10 minutes. And they kind of like look at me like, are
Are
you
you
sure?
crazy?
You know? And so, sure enough, like 10, 15 minutes later, they'll walk up to the table and they're like, that is absolutely amazing. I can't believe actually worked. Like they're like, I can breathe. Like I haven't been able to breathe this well in I don't know how long. It just opens all of it up. And that's what's so beautiful. It's like it doesn't take like 5, 10 days to kick in. It's like you can feel it within minutes, especially if you're dealing with that congestion. And in fact, my son prefers to take it in the evening, as well as my daughter. And a lot of people have shifted to taking their morning dose at night simply because it has such a profound effect on inflammation and sinus health that it is allowing you to breathe better. And what happens when you can breathe better at night? You're going to sleep better. And when you're going to sleep better, what's going to happen? You're going to feel more rested and more energetic the next day. So I think that that's why they prefer to take it in the evening because they know and can feel the difference in how it makes them feel, and they're getting better sleep because of it. So I love that.
I love when people come from a place of skepticism because then you know it's not the placebo effect. You know, it's not, oh, I believe in this, so it's really going to help. They're coming in thinking, this is not going to work. How could this work? 10 minutes? No way. Like I take all the medications, or I do all these other therapies and they don't work that quickly. But to
And
have that
yeah.
effect so
And the beautiful
quickly.
thing about nature is you don't have the side effects. You don't have the drowsiness that a lot of other over-the-counter medications can cause. And then we can go into sugars and dyes and quote natural flavoring and all the things that are being added to products that frankly I don't want in my kid's system, and I think a lot of parents would agree they would love to have something more natural. So when you share there's no sugar or artificial sweeteners or fillers or thickeners or dyes or natural flavoring or concentrates or preservatives, the list goes on and on and on because it's
On
just
and on,
nature.
yes.
It's like, wow. It's just amazing what it can do. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so talk to me about, you said you use European elderberries. So I know that sourcing matters. We are very much a product of what we eat. So it
Mhm.
matters. Where do you get your elderberries? What does your sourcing look like?
Yeah, so we actually go straight to the source of where they're native to, which is Europe. We partner with an organic farm there. We have certificate of analysis on every single ingredient that we use to ensure that it is non-GMO and organic. And there's a couple of things to know about Europe is one, their standards are so incredibly high that I would take anything any day from Europe over what we have to offer here. Unfortunately, we're not held to those same standards in our country. So you are getting what you're buying essentially of something that is rich in nutrients, that it's organic, it's non-GMO, it's not being sprayed with pesticides and fertilizer sprays. And there's certificate of analysis to back that up by testing. And then we get all of our products third-party lab tested as well to ensure the consumer safety, the quality control of our ingredients, the potency, the best by date, and everything that goes into what third-party lab testing means. And elderberries in Europe are also, like what I mentioned before, the variety and species that the research has backed. So it's important like to use the variety that, has the medicinal properties and has the rich anthocyanins and antioxidants and rutin and quercetin and all these properties that elderberries have to offer, really bringing our family as well as all of yours and theirs and theirs and theirs, the best, the best. I always tell people it's like we take this product every single day. What we want for our own family is also what we want for yours. And that's why I don't plan to change the formula and to change things. And there's been a lot of opportunities over the last nearly 8 years to change things along the way to cut costs and to save money. And I think I can proudly sit in this chair and know that my heart and soul and mission behind this is such a greater purpose that I don't lean into those opportunities because, again, we take this and what I want for my own family is the best. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And I appreciate that for not giving in, right? Everybody wants to sell you something that's cheaper, that is more cost effective, but your focus has stayed true to quality, that you're not in it for how can I make the most and have it cost the least. Obviously, that is a component, but you're focused more on quality. So I really appreciate that. Another thing that I do want to mention is I really appreciate that you use glass bottles. So we're not leaching plastics into this powerhouse of a product. And I do have a question for you. So it comes in the liquid and it comes in the chews or the bites.
Mm-hmm.
When would you recommend using each? Do you have a preference? What's kind of your motto when using the different products?
So the beautiful thing about the essentially one product that we make in just two different forms is that it's essentially the same thing and it has the same efficacy in terms of it working and it, bringing the same benefit. So the bites are actually made from our liquid formulation. The only difference is with the bites, we are adding non-GMO organic preservatives to keep them shelf stable so that you can carry them in your purse and take them with you wherever you want, versus our liquid has no added preservatives to it, and that's why it's kept refrigerated. So the liquid is going to be your at-home version of our formulation, kept in the refrigerator, where the bites are just a travel version that you can take with you on the go wherever you go and still reap those same benefits that that bottle in the refrigerator is bringing. Of course, they do taste different. I feel like the liquid is more flavorful, it has a richer taste to it, but the bites are so delicious as well. And when creating the bites, I can remember looking at our director of operations when he was formulating them. Um, Most gummies in the market, as you know, they have added sugar or tapioca or agave or artificial sweeteners or stevia. There's always a sweetener, but no chewable version of a supplement on the market that I've come by, and I really don't think there's another one out there, uses only local raw honey. In fact, we have to use more raw honey to make our bites to compensate that little bit of citric acid that brings down the pH level to make them shelf stable than we do in our liquid, which is also an abundance of honey in the liquid. So if that goes to show anyone, like we are using local raw honey. It's not honey that you can just purchase, in mass quantity that oftentimes has things like corn syrup or other things added to it to cheapen the manufacturing process. But we are partnering with local beekeepers, knowing that at any time we could go out to their site and see exactly where our honey is coming from, and it goes straight from the hives to our product. So it's not filtered, it's not processed. We don't thermally heat process our products, which would also degrade the benefits that raw honey has to offer. So, it's just stepping into all the little different things that we do in terms of our ingredients, our processing, that I think really make us a difference and how it's helping people too. It's like, yeah, we could use a lot less honey. It doesn't really, I mean, it could have a lot less honey in the product, and which would save a lot of money, right? But I'm too scared to even want to touch that because so then, like, what? It doesn't have the same effect on people's allergies and sinus health, right? Or what if that
Right.
raw honey is also playing a role in how it's helping people with joint inflammation? Why would I even think to touch that formula when I know exactly how it is how it's working for people, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then also you run the risk, you created it with your kids in mind
Right.
because kids are so often conditioned to need really sweet things. You decrease that, and sure, over time they'd get used to it, but like you said, you want them to like it right from the get-go, right from the start, so it's not a struggle, so it's not a fight to try and get them to take this product that you know is going to help them.
And they love it.
Yeah.
And you bring up a good point because there are a lot of kids that have come up to my table at events and different things I've done over the years. And you can tell immediately the kids that have had an awful experience with medicine And I can see myself in their shoes just looking at me over the table because that was me when I was a kid. I was often fed antibiotics on a spoon with grape Kool-Aid. I absolutely couldn't swallow pills. My throat wouldn't open up. So every single pill or medicine that you can imagine was crushed up into a powder, and I was taking it by spoon. So
Mhm.
even like the smell of antibiotics, if I even had to like put my nose up to them, like it would take me right back to my childhood, right? So when kids are at the table and they don't want to try it, you can just tell they've had bad experiences. And so for listeners, if your child is like that, which many, many are, what I typically do is just kind of have them dab their finger in a little sample and then take a lick. And as soon as they lick their finger, they're like, oh, wow, okay. Can I have some more, please? Like that's all it takes, So don't try to shove them down like a dose and be like, "Oh, it's good for you," and I promise it tastes good. Just have them kind of tap their little finger in and taste it for themselves, and that always does the trick to get them to step into trying something new they've never had before.
That is such a great idea. Another tool for parents, right? Get your kids,
Yes,
start small. Don't expect them to necessarily love it and drink the whole dose. Just try it with your finger.
yes.
Okay, Jessica, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this product with us. Please, will you please tell us how we can find this product, how we can learn more from you? Um, where do we find you at?
Yes, I think the best way is they can follow us on social media at the Power of Elderberries. And we also, of course, have a website, and it's thepowerofelderberries.com. And that's a great, resource to go and learn more about our products. We have a loyalty membership for those that take it on a regular basis to save up to 15%. They can get free shipping on bundles. We give free exclusive product rewards as our way of just showing appreciation and gratitude for our loyalists, as many people take our product on a regular basis. So they can learn more about that there as well. And yeah, just happy to share. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to message us, ask, reach out, and I would be so excited to talk to them more.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And I will put all of those links and website in the show notes. So if you're looking for more elderberry products, any listeners, look down in the show notes. There's more information down there. Jessica, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your commitment to quality products and your desire to help so many people. Even though it didn't start that way, we're so grateful for you for continuing down this path, even though it hasn't been easy. Just trusting God's process, knowing that he's going to put people in your path that can help you along this journey. So thank you so much for your time today and for sharing your experience with us.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yep. We'll talk to you later.